Okay, so we're out in the shop again today, and I've been working on this lathe conversion. And the last time I recorded a video, I had a end mill I was thread milling with. Well, those end mills are not very sustainable for my shop. In other words, they're not very affordable. They're kind of expensive, and there's no way I can sustain using that end mill in my shop. So I went and got some other thread mills, and they're a lot more affordable, therefore I can sustain them in my shop. So this is one in particular that I've picked up. It seems to be a real good thread mill. I played around with it yesterday for quite some time, nailing it down, and got some threads out of it. This bottom row here. So it does a really nice job. I went back later and chamfered this top here. I have to drill and then come back and thread and then come back and chamfer. So therefore I'm back to using 3 different tools for what I was getting done with thread mill. It's just so expensive, I can't sustain that thread mill. So this is what they call a single point thread mill. This is an M8, and it's a 4-flute, and I think I paid $25 for this thread mill. Okay, the other JBO thread mill, I believe it's $185 for that thread mill. There's no way I can afford that thread mill in this shop. So this is M8 threads that I did yesterday with this thread mill. So these threads look every bit as good as the ones that was being made before. It's just not as convenient to have 3 tools in one, and it saves a lot of time still just by being able to thread this hole without having to do it later. So even if I have to chamfer it by hand, you know what, that's not that big of a deal, as long as I don't have to do a whole machining process somewhere else on another machine. So with all that, I've got this part ready to go. I'm getting ready to probe it in and run it, and there'll be some thread milling on this video with those two thread mills, and we'll see how things go. So we'll go ahead and get started, probe this piece in, make sure my probe is live. Okay, so now we're all probed in. So the next thing is to run the piece. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, we're going to machine a pocket in this part for the ball nut to go through. And the first tool is going to be a pretty good sized drill just to remove some material out of the center of the pocket. So when the end mill comes in and starts machining in that pocket, it won't have any problem with a place for the chips to go out, you know, out the bottom. So the end of the tool doesn't sit there and grind on chips that may be stuck down in the pocket where it's helixing down. I've just found out that having a hole in the bottom seems to help a little bit and kind of gets rid of that gnarling grinding noise that sounds like it's going on. So here we go. We'll get this going. Kind of hard to keep those nozzles in the right place when you change tools. Inevitably you touch one of them. Got that drilled out. Next is the 1/2 inch end mill that's going to go down in there and clear that pocket out. Okay, well, we got that all cleared off a little bit so you could see the finish inside the pocket there. That's just within that's a trace right after the adaptive. So it does a pretty good job there on the inside, those YG1 end mills that a buddy of mine, Chris, over at Small Shop Concepts turned me on to. Alright, so the next thing is going to be to drill the holes around the outside. There'll be 6 holes, 3 on the top, 3 on the bottom, for the mounting the ball nut. And those are going to be done with a number 9 stud drill. I got to get my relay hooked up for my air here. I forgot it, didn't have it hooked up while ago, and I got to get it hooked up so that I can keep my air line for blowing my tool off before I put it in my tool tray, because it's a little aggravating to wipe them off. Alright, so we'll go ahead and get this drilling process done and go and move on to the threading. Okay, that stub drill makes short work of that. Alright, so here we go with the M6 threads. I guess we'll see how accurate this thing is now. As it's drilled, now it's got to go back and thread. It's pretty good on a tool change, so seems to be all right. Got a spring pass there on that. That's about a half a thou per tooth. About 100 thousandths longer over the top of the hole. Make sure it got out good. Okay, so we got those done. Because I added a little bit of fluid down here. A little evaporation going on this already. The heat been pretty good today, yesterday, and today's heat's pretty bad at the shop, so lose a little bit of coolant or a little bit of water evaporated there. Alright, that does it for that. Now we gotta get set up for the other side, but I'm going to take a few measurements before I move this thing and see what we got in regard to fit. Alright, so I'm going to check us out on fit. Get my air hose back. We can blow this thing out and let you guys get a look at the threads. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and deburr these. It's a pretty good tool here. It's a Noga tool for deburring the hole. This is a pretty good size one. I'm trying to get some smaller ones for small holes, but it works real well. It only takes a couple of rounds and you got it done. Does a real good job. I like it pretty good. See if I can get a measurement without getting drowned in here. That's pretty close. At about 40.15, so 40 millimeters is the size of the ball nut, so I think we'll be pretty good on that. It doesn't have to be extremely tight. A little bit of play doesn't hurt anything. I think it'll be pretty close. Alright, since I'm satisfied with that, I'll just go ahead and pop it out. They done pretty good there. Screw's hard to hold on to. This screw's a little long for what I'm going to be doing with it, but screws in pretty good, nice, and it's not tight, so I think that's good. It doesn't move too much. That's about average. Even a tap, when you use a tap, you get a little play in it. So fits pretty good. I think it's not too tight, not too loose. Seems to do alright. It tightens up down in the bottom, of course, but alright, so there you go. There's a little bit of thread milling. Got one more setup on this part. Another look inside. threads do look pretty good in there. Get a look at them. There you go. Pretty nice. They don't look like they're too far off centered or anything. One on the opposite side. Looks pretty good, so I'd say that's a success. Okay guys, so I'm going to go ahead and get this thing set up for the next run, and I'll bring you back. Alright, I got us all turned over here, got us all probed in, got everything ready to go I think. So we'll go ahead and first thing we're going to do is drill 2 holes and thread them, and then we're going to come back and take a little chunk off of the corner over there to allow for my gib plate on the bottom of the gib rail on the lathe. That'll be using that 1/2 inch end mill again to do that contour. It's a contour path across the back. Right here, it'll be taken out a little bit. So these will be M8 by 1.25 threads. Alright. This drill bit has a tendency to hold on to the chips a little bit. Right at the very beginning it'll make those long curly chips, and they'll get wrapped around the drill bit for some reason. I don't know why. Most of the rest of them they'll throw them off. It's doing a little better now. Alright, got the holes ready. Alright, so here we go with some thread mill, M8 by 1.25. And again, I ran it about 100 thousandths over the top, so to make sure it got out good. This tool is a 4-flute tool, the other tool is a 3-flute tool, so there's a little bit of feed change, not much, but a little bit. Since it's a 4-flute, it can handle a little bit more speed. 5,000 RPM, 10 inches a minute, and it's about a half a thou for tube. Thread pitch diameter is kind of tricky when you're working with that. You kind of start out where you should, and then you have to kind of work away or work into. But I think my drill bit is causing issues with the size of the hole, so I'm going to have to get me a nice carbide stub drill for doing these M8 threads, so I get a little better result out of my pitch diameter. So we'll take a look at this in between tool changes. They look pretty good. Clean them up a little bit. Got an M8 bolt here, and it looks like it goes right in, no problem. It might be just a hair loose, like I say. I got a little bit of an issue with this drill bit. I'm not sure about this drill bit that I'm using, so once I get a carbide stub drill, then I think my issue with the hole will go away. But they look good. I think they'll hold up okay. So I think that's close enough for that one. It doesn't look like it was scrubbing or anything, so I'm pretty sure I'm pretty close on it. I just need to change the hole that's being drilled for the thread mill to go down in initially, my clearance drill. So alright, we'll go ahead and get this tool changed. Go ahead and finish this piece up. Then I get to take the lathe back apart and put it on there. Alright, here we go with this contour. And this is some both way milling. It's going to mill on the way back as well. And if you choose no radius on your vertical lead in and keep the tool down, you shouldn't have any head raise in between where it changes directions. About 50,000 step over, 25 inches per minute. Alright, and that's just That's not really anything important about that notch. It's just a clearance notch, so I didn't do any finishing on it or anything like that. It's just a roughed out notch for clearance. But that's not too bad of a finish for a roughed out notch. You can see there's a little tool node there where it went back as it was getting to the end. You could see it tapering off there. But yeah, it doesn't matter. It's like I say, it's just a clearance notch, that's all. Alright, so we'll get this tool out of here. Number one. That guy will kind of clean you up if you get in it. Alright. Okay guys, there's the finished piece. Threads there. Threads there. They look pretty nice. Oops, sorry about that. Still trying to focus on the back right there. As you can see, those pretty good sized flat there on that thread. I'm thinking that my drill bit is just removing a little bit too much material there, and it's causing my bolt to be kind of sloppy in the hole, but there's plenty of contact there. It should hold out alright. I just need to get me a stud drill for that. Alright guys, well that's this piece. One more piece added to the puzzle. Hopefully we'll be getting this thing tied to the, getting the ball screw tied to the carriage, and should be able to move on. Try to get the control box wired up and get things moving. I'm really excited about it. Have a machine big enough to handle what I do. Okay guys, thanks for watching the video. Thumbs up if you like the video. New subscribers are welcome. And till next time, take it easy. Alright guys, well I figured once I got the part on here I'd let you guys see what I got so far. So down here we got the Z-axis servo. This is the bearing block, and this coupling came with this ball screw. I'm waiting on a different style coupling. This one actually has the red plastic. It's very small though. You can see it there. It's very small, narrow amount of plastic in it. So I'm probably, this would probably be a pretty good coupling. However, the ones I'm waiting for they're double diaphragm style couplings, and the diaphragms in between the three pieces of aluminum are stainless steel. So there's zero backlash in those couplings. These couplings over a period of time, or some of them right out of the gate, have a little bit of backlash in them anyway. So they're kind of, sometimes they can be troublesome. I had one on my mill and it clicked all the time. So I don't want to have to deal with that. These other double diaphragm couplings are much better. a much better thing to use. So anyway, this is the piece we just got done machining there. I got it on the machine and it bolted right up. Everything went along just fine putting it on, and everything moves. No, I mean I can turn the ball screw with, you know, 2 fingers, and it pushes the carriage back and forth, no problem, no resistance whatsoever right there where it's at. So I'm pretty happy about that. Doesn't seem to be any issues with binding so far. We'll know more when I get more toward the ends. It kind of lets you know where you goofed up at. So that'll be the next thing, is to find out how well it is going towards the ends. Sometimes you can make them slide, but this one just doesn't do it. So we'll find out when I get on into it here and find out what kind of binding issues I'm going to run into anywhere along the way. So just thought I'd share with you guys so you could see what was going on. Get a little better look at what's going on there. So once I get everything machined, I'll probably have a piece come across the front here. Probably will machine off a little bit of this back here for whatever I put on here, but there's not a lot of room between the front bolt and the end of the part here, so it won't be over 1/8 of an inch or something like that. But this would just be to cover up anyway. Nothing much there. It will cover up and it will tie this piece and this plate together, and it will make it quite a bit more rigid. So that'll be necessary to do. So this will just involve on this side over here to machine a plate similar to this that's just big enough for the ball screw to pass through. However, I do have a bellows a rubber bellows that I used on the first lathe that I converted. This little thing here, it's kind of like a elephant trunk, but it'll fit in here and go back and forth. It actually would stop somewhere out here because I'll have a plate up here, and this would go however far it needed to go. It's real stretchy, so you can just put like you can machine some type of round gland for this to hook to, and then just put a wire tie around it or something on both ends. This one could actually fasten to the ball nut mount right here. Just, you know, fasten it right on there, and then just put this on the end there with a wire tie around it, and it would be connected just like that. So that would protect that ball screw pretty good. It does a good job on my small lathe, so I've had it on there for a few years and it's still hanging in there. So anyway, I just thought I'd share with you guys so you could see what I had going on so far. A little bit of time here and a little bit of time there. I don't have much time to do anything anymore. With work's been kind of busy, so it makes it hard to get out here in the shop and do things, especially during the week. I don't normally get out here during the week, but on the weekends I'll come out here, and I got a little bit of research and development in yesterday on the thread mills and got those processes nailed down. So that helped out. It helped out a lot on this piece. It only took whatever time it took to machine the pieces, so I was done, and then it was just take the ball screw loose, slide it on, bolt it up there. So it makes a big difference when you don't have to sit there and go to another machine and machine more. So okay guys, thanks for watching.